have a look at the possible task rubrics, the possible tracce that you can get. And I'm going to show you a few examples really taken from, real life from the past couple of years. And I'd like you to look at them and try in your mind to think about the differences between them. What is different in the topics, what is different in the requirements of the different tasks, okay? And then I will give you my analysis to summarize them, okay? So we've got the first one here, for AB25. The topic is the suffragettes. You have a target class, a context, some students with specific educational needs, all right? Then we have this other traccia, which is, you're going to look at this and think this is, it's quite different really, the way that it's laid out on, even just on the paper, the way that it's phrased. You've got a topic that's the United Kingdom, politics and government. And this is, again, AB24. And you've got a number of details that you have to include. Then we have this. Use of possessive adjectives. Year 1 of lower secondary school. And again, you've got some details about the students' specific needs and special educational needs, really. Then something different entirely. Wandsworth, analysis of I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud, Liceo Scienze Umane, so you've got quite a different type of task rubric with this one. And then I think the most maybe different one is this one that I found. It's again, AB24, present a teaching unit. Also notice the type of vocabulary used, teaching unit, as opposed to lesson plan or learning activity. On the following topic, the olive oil route. And the target class is Istituto Professionale Settore Servizi, year 5. And you've got the Sephora level here, level of the class is B2. And then finally, we've got another one. I have to say, I've chosen a bit of a mixture of task rubrics, some of them a bit more ridiculous than others. Here we have the topic language, its functions, and linguistic diversity. You don't have a lot of details here. We've only got istruzione secondaria di secondo grado, but it's up to you really to choose most really of the details when you do your lesson plan on this. Okay, so coming sort of to a summary, summing up the task rubrics, what are the possible topics you can get, which we can understand from these examples that we've seen? Broadly speaking, and I think it's important that you know that you can get these different areas. Cool. Okay, so some of the possible topics you may get. First of all, grammar. You might get verb tenses, you might get specific structures to work on. 2, lexis. Obviously, lexico, grammar might go together as well, but let's separate them just for the sake of clarity. So you might get specific lexical sets, prefixes and suffixes, opposites and synonyms. This has all happened at previous concorsi. You might also get a function or a task, something a bit more practical. When I say function, I mean a function of a linguistic function, really a communicative function, like complaining or making a request, or things like that, or a task, maybe something a bit more practical, like making a video call or booking a ticket. You might get a literature or history task, like the one that we've just seen, an analysis of I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud. That's a spelling mistake, apologies. Something much more generic, art and beauty in literature is another traccia that came out last year. something to do with history, the Wars of the Roses, something to do with biographies like the life of Lord Byron. Culture. There were tasks about Brexit last year, American sports. You might get something, I presume, about the US elections because they're coming up. Something completely random like punk music, you know, history to do with British music and things like that. You might get an English for specific purposes task, and this is to do mostly with the istituti tecnici and istituti professionali, so the olive oil route, travel insurance for example, for a turistico, marketing for a specific type of business. There's also different levels of detail, as you will have seen in the examples that I've given you. So details may or may not be given about the time of the school year, so the first or second or third term or whatever, the age group of the target class, the number of students, the school of reference, so you might get liceo or istituto tecnico, and you might also, or you might not, get the indirizzo. You might get references to the broader socioeconomic context and also to specific special educational needs, which we call BES in Italian. You might or might not get the separate level of the class or of specific students. And you may also be told about what they want to see in the lesson plan specifically. So, for example, references to the indicazioni nazionali, the learning aims, timings of your activities, specific procedures, a description of the context. These are all things taken from old tracce. The classroom setting, so how are you organizing the classroom setting? Personalization and individualization strategies, which have to do with inclusion for the most part. Inclusion measures and specific inclusion measures as well. And assessment, of course.